1 year after the attack on the Capitol, the main players who may have plotted the attempted coup have not been brought to justice. John Avlon with a reality check.
There really hasn't been an end to January 6th. So once accountability has been had, then you can start to heal.
That's Capitol Police Officer Harry Dunn. And he's right. Just as truth needs to precede reconciliation, we need to see legal accountability for the coup plotters before we can really heal as a nation. But so far, despite more than 700 pro-Trump rioters being charged and about 30 going to prison, there has been little to no legal accountability for the people who plotted this insurrection attempt. But there are signs that the January 6th committee is focusing on just that.
I think that there are a number of, as the chairman said, potential criminal statutes at issue here. But I think that there's absolutely no question that it was a dereliction of duty.
So what exactly might that mean? Well, let's start with potential criminal statutes. It turns out there's a criminal penalty for insurrection already on the books, which states, whoever incites, sets on foot, assists, or engages in any rebellion or insurrection against the authority of the United States or the laws thereof, or gives aid or comfort thereto, shall be incapable of holding any office under the United States. And note that this specifically covers someone who incites or assists an insurrection. There's also a separate criminal statute that covers seditious conspiracy. Likewise, the attempts to pressure secretaries of state like Georgia's Brad Raffensperger to find more votes could constitute election interference. And it could also be argued that Trump's promotion of the big lie constitutes a conspiracy to defraud the United States. Now, typically, this law applies to financial fraud against the U.S. government, but that's only one of its intended applications. In a 1924 opinion, Supreme Court Justice William Howard Taft explained that it also means to interfere with or obstruct one of its lawful government functions by deceit, craft, or trickery, or at least by means that are dishonest. So, an ongoing attempt to defraud our democracy by an ex-president would certainly seem to qualify. In all these cases, the Justice Department would need to choose to prosecute, and to date, despite a sprawling investigation, there has been no evident effort to prosecute the top-tier coup plotters. But while Attorney General Merrick Garland's been busy trying to normalize and depoliticize the Justice Department, he's also pledged this in a speech this week.
The Justice Department remains committed to holding all January 6 perpetrators at any level accountable under law, whether they were present that day or were otherwise criminally responsible for the assault on our democracy.
Beyond criminal penalties, there are also constitutional prohibitions on insurrection put in place by the Civil War generation. Specifically, the 14th Amendment, Section 3, designed to prohibit people who've taken an oath to uphold the Constitution and then participated in insurrection against the United States from holding elected or appointed office. And as University of Maryland law professor Mark Graber, a scholar of the 14th Amendment, told me, from a constitutional perspective, there's no difference between trying to overturn an election by fraud, force, or violence. All of them fall under insurrection. While subject to inevitable legal challenges, it could possibly bar Trump from running for president again, given that a majority of Congress voted in favor of his second impeachment on charges of inciting insurrection. It could also apply to any member of Congress who are found to have coordinated with the insurrectionists. That's true, these criminal statutes and constitutional prohibitions are rarely invoked. But then, insurrections rarely happen in the United States. They were put in place to use in moments like this. Doing nothing is by far the most dangerous option. 1 year after the attacks of January 6th, we should all know that we cannot take our democracy for granted. Basic guardrails must be strengthened. We need to apply the law fairly but without flinching, because bullies only respect strength, and without strict accountability, we will only invite future insurrections.